Welcome back to the Wealth Building Journey podcast. Again, I'm Dennis Hilario, joined by my co-host and fellow wealth strategist, Paul Familara. So today we're diving deep into the principles of Robert Kiyosaki's cash flow quadrant. So this episode will break down key elements such as financial growth, building income streams, tax advantages, and more. So we'll be exploring how these concepts can basically accelerate your wealth building journey and help you achieve financial freedom. So, hi Paul, I'm excited about this one. So, kamusta?
Hi, Dennis. Yeah, good. Thank you. And ako rin excited dito kasi I'd like to share a lot of good things about why business is important in wealth generation.
That's right. So probably we can start with the financial growth and scalability, no. Yung cash flow quadrant kasi as you know categorizes four types of people, no. Meron tayong employees, self-employed, business owners, and basically investors. So what are your thoughts there, no? How this quadrant helps us understand financial growth potential?
Okay. Basically, if you will dun sa mga hindi nakabasa pa ng Robert Kiyosaki, he's not a perfect financial guru, no. He has some ideas, not all of his ideas are right, pero with this he hit it on the nail's head.
Yeah.
Which means, for me, I understand perfectly when he said the cash flow quadrant has four elements. One is E, employee; S, self-employed. So ESBI. E, employee; S, self-employed; B, business; I, investor. And when you're in wealth building, you should be on the side of BI, business and investment. So when you are an employee, regardless kung maliit ang sweldo mo, if you have a low income or higher income, kahit na $1 million a year pa yan or million pesos a year pa yan yung sweldo mo, it's about really making sure that you're leveraging the growth of finances. When you're an employee, you take salary on a 15 by 30 or 30 or every month, you are not growing that income at all until you get the next appraisal and
Right.
you get a salary increase and then you grow your income. But how often does it happen? Does it happen per year? Maybe you're very lucky, or it's going to happen every 6 months if you have been promoted to a new position.
Right. And you
Now,
also
we
grow your
talked about-
expenses at the same time.
Exactly. We talked about this in the last episode about inflation. Why you have to grow your income to catch up with inflation. If you're employee, a salaried person, it's harder to catch up with inflation, right? That's one of the factors that would retard you from growing your wealth. Now, if you're self-employed, like a doctor, a lawyer, a construction contractor, no, you are paying yourself as an employee. So what happens is you only grow your income as far as your effort can go, or as far as your time can give you as well.
Right.
Meaning, it's not multiplying your income. So ES, tumaas nga yung income mo kasi lawyer ka, doctor ka, mas mataas ang income mo, or pag tumanggap ka na maraming customer or pasyente, kliyente, mas mataas ang income mo. However, it doesn't really give you more because you're just still yourself. If you get sick, if you stop working, if even if you receive 100 customers to 1,000 customers, you're limited up to, let's say, as much as you can
Right.
get for a month. So yes, it's still limited. But when you're in business, when you go to that side already, you're leveraging in terms of scalability. Yun yung tinatanong mo kanina. How would you grow your finances by scaling it up? If you have more customers, then add more products. If you have more clients, then add more people who will work on servicing those clients.
Yeah.
So, nagle-leverage ka ngayon that money is now starting to work with you because it's growing alongside the demand. It
Yeah.
will not limit you. If your situation is you have a retail store or a service office in one region and there will be demand in other regions of the country or probably other countries, you can now expand your business growth to the other areas. Like for me, my Innovate is also available here in New Zealand while it's growing and thriving in the Philippines for 19 years. So, ibig sabihin, you are now making your time worthwhile and you're multiplying yourself as well kasi yun yung dinovelop mo na idea eh. And you're passing it on to people who are of the same skill sets as you and knowledge as you who will implement that idea.
Correct.
Definitely you will not be the same, but you will thrive that vision, push them together in one alignment, you can create. And most of the people who are growing their wealth, they have their businesses as well.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
May it be a real estate business na nagpaparenta ka, no? It's still a business, right? So, or if you're like a doctor, you put a clinic and you have several doctors, then you know that's business. You
Right.
multiplied yourself. You're now from S, self-employed, to a businessman. And when you have business and you have that amount of money, you can now you can move on to investing.
Yeah.
Investing high talaga. Hindi lang yung simple things kasi malalaki na yung amount of income that you're getting from business. Although, if you're an employee or self-employed, you can still go into investing because any amount of money that you have there left, you can still put into investing. But minuscule, smaller amount kasi yun ang capacity mo eh.
Yeah.
But you're in your business and you're an investor and start revolving your money starts working for you. And that's basically why this cash flow quadrant is really, really important for everyone to understand.
Right. So yeah, basically you nailed yung the general concept and idea of the cash flow quadrant. Pero practically speaking then, one of the challenges kasi, especially if you're an employee, once you learn these concepts, is yung transition. How can I transition from an employee to that side of the quadrant? Basically, that's the big question. What's your advice on how to do that transition?
Well, first of all, you have the intent. You have to have the intent. You have to have a vision beyond what you have right now. Isa yun eh. Kasi kapag wala yung intent na yun, wala yung hunger na yun, wala yung desire na yun, if you don't have that kind of desire, midway, or malapit ka na siguro dun sa pag-transition, yung crossing over to the next level, you quit.
Right.
That's hard. That's frustrating because you don't know that you're already making headway, but you stop. You stop because you thought you've lost the battle. So most of the time, and that's what I did. I was working while running a small business. No, nagtayo ako ng maliliit na business hanggang dinagdagan ko ng isang business o dalawang business. Pero syempre, nagsasacrifice din talaga yung oras mo because,
Right.
You have to work more than your 8 to 5 job. You do it either after your work or before you start working in the morning, no? So, just like me, what I did was I do the transactions of ordering in the morning before I go to work, and then after I go to work, I run to the shops that I had set up and manage it, no? Tapos kasi may tao naman doon, and then when I moved to a service business, I even work until midnight, no? Para makapaggawa ng proposals, review the proposals, email them, and send it through, and then reply to emails in the morning. So I remember then I was working like 4 hours. Sleeping 4 hours a day. So 20
Bata-bata ka
hours
kasi
a day.
you can endure puyat, no?
Yung iba nagpupuyat umiinom, nasa barkada, nasa labas, 'di ba? Or nagpupuyat ka, nanonood ka ng Netflix or what have you, no? Or nasa vacation ka. You spend that time working on your craft and making sure the business works for you. So those spent time and less sleep was pay dividends in the future. And I'm sure you did that. You did the same.
Yung sa akin kasi medyo unique yung nangyari, Not really unique kasi when I was when I graduated kasi from college, ay nag-employee muna ako for a time. Probably about almost 2 years, I was a programmer in a Japanese company. No, actually, that was the time that I stumbled upon that book ni Robert Kiyosaki around 2000 year 99 2000 I think, no. And then dun ako na motivate na mag-business because of that exact book, no. Pero ang ginawa ko kasi is not really a transition, but my uncle who was a business in Papua New Guinea at that time, umuwi siya dito sa Pinas and kinonvince namin siya ng brother ko na mag-business here. He's an accountant. So, we sold the idea of developing an accounting software. At that time, my brother naman nasa Accenture siya, which is Andersen Consulting pa yun at that time. And immediately, he decided to invest. Nag-resign kami dun sa mga employment namin. And then sabi namin, kahit magbigay ka na lang ng allowance, no? Kahit hindi na yung salary namin sa company namin. Yun yung pinakang sacrifice, no? In exchange of having the business. So hindi talaga siya transition, but parang cold turkey, no? Nag-resign kami after a week. Di pa yata ako nag-render ng 30 days. After a week, kumuha na kami ng condo, doon kami nag-develop. Yun, 2 years of development, and then that's the time na nag-commercialize kami, no? Nagbenta kami ng software. So that's the story. Pero even that, dumating din sa point, probably you know this, na I want to jump into another career. So from the software business for about 20 years, I've been doing that. And intentionally, no, nag-pandemic, I was intentional of retiring dun sa business na yon, that software business. Pero dun nangyari yung transition, meaning it's not like a cold turkey approach na give up ko siya. Gumawa muna ako ng other means, which is basically yung personal brand ko, at the same time other businesses, no. Nung nakita ko na that will already sustain my lifestyle and my cost of living, that's the time na I decided to basically sell the software business. So that's my pretty much the story. But at the end of the day, the point here is that meron ka dapat na ginagawang effort in terms of securing your financial requirement before ka mag-jump into out from your current cost,
kailangan talaga
living,
kailangan talaga secured yung transition eh.
That's right. Yes.
Secured yung transition kasi ang mahirap diyan pag hindi ka ready, then you will lose both.
Right.
'Di ba? Kasi naka-focus ka dun sa gagawin mong bago, which is your new business, while you're working. And how can, like for instance, when I gave you the example, 24 hours of the day, 4 hours of sleep, 20 hours of work for both the business and employment, how would you sustain that for a long time? It would be difficult, diba? So kailangan ready ka talaga lumipat kung talagang lilipat ka. Meron time na nagpapasweldo ako ng mga empleyado galing sa sweldo ko. So, di ba parang weird kasi paano na yun?
Right.
It should be my income in my pocket, and yet I have to pay out employees because I don't want to miss a beat. And it's my principle ever since. We never miss a beat in terms of paying our employees. Walang delay yan.
Correct.
So even during the time of COVID, when everything was bad, everyone was paid at the right time with what amount was paid for them. No reduction on salary. So why is it so? Because you're ready. You take calculated risks, and I can only do that. Kaya ako nagagawa yun kasi nga, and I was telling my sons earlier about it, that it's wise because alam mo na meron ng income na papasok eh. So for instance, during that time I was doing that, meron akong deal na nagawa sa client that I'm gonna make $1 million per month. So what is sacrificing my salary for the salary of my people? When in fact, with that deal that I made, I already made a service worth 1 million pesos a month
Mm.
na alam ko pag na-collect na yon, kahit 30 days or 60 days away pa yon, 1 million yon.
Right, right.
Di ba? So malaking bagay kagad yun.
Yeah.
And that will give me like a head start for another, what, 6, 7 months for the business, di ba?
Correct, correct.
Pero during that 7 months, nag-build ka na naman ng 1 million, 1 million, 1 million. So, that's how you work it. That's how you,
Yeah.
you make it work.
I agree 100%, no. Yung sinabi mo kanina na you have to be intentional, ano, dun sa gagawin mong transition. And I did that, ano, dun sa first milestone, and then yung milestone of selling the business was also really intentional, ano. So yun yung mindset na dapat nating ma-practice, no. So basically, one point din kasi na sinasabi ni Robert Kiyosaki, no, is the importance of multiple streams, no. Sabi natin yung transition, but there's also a concept of multiple streams of income. So why do you think it's also crucial, no, to have more than one source of income today?
Because especially now, the situation of our economy worldwide, plus the impending war that is coming out of the Middle East, you have to be secured with anything, right? Because if one fails, you still have one to work on. And that's why if you're wealthy, you can jump in from one situation to the other, being cautioned about these situations. So kung umuulan sa kabila, di lumipat ka sa kabila na magandang panahon, pwede ka. So yun yung, kung meron kang bahay sa lugar na maulan at may bahay ka sa lugar na mainit, pag umuulan doon, punta ka sa mainit. Kung gusto kung doon naman masyadong mainit naman, doon ka sa malamig na lugar. So yun yung mga bagay na kaya mong gawin kasi may wealth ka. Now, kung let's say employee ka pa lang, nagta-transition ka pa lang to business, again, your salary plus your small business will help you with the transition. Again, if you're a businessman, if you have one business in one industry and then you move to another and you have another business in another industry, kung yung industry na yun will fail, you have another industry that you can get money out of because you have another business on that side.
Yeah.
So, kung may real estate ka, nag-grow yun, tumataas pa rin yung value, ibenta mo. That's how important it is.
Yeah.
We should not rely on our employers to give us everything.
Yeah.
Ay, gusto ko ng health benefit. Ay, gusto ko ng insurance. Sir, kailangan meron akong allowance. Sir, kailangan meron akong cellphone, laptop, blah, blah, blah. Taasan mo sweldo ko. Pero pag tinanggal na ikaw sa trabaho bukas, wala, lahat yun wiped out. Sanay ka na dun.
Yeah. Exactly.
May pa-kotse pa sa'yo. Paano kung wala kang kotse? So di ba? Totally,
Yeah.
you're devastated. Most people are afraid. That's why they stick to the job that they don't like, or lost when that happens.
Yeah, meron din kasing study, no, na for you to be a millionaire, you have to have at least 7 income streams, no.
Wow.
Yeah, yun ang sa study, no. Pero the question now here, especially if you're transitioning, should you attempt to diversify right away or focus on one business muna to be successful, and then yung overflow nun, yun yung gagamitin mo for diversification?
Tama yun. Tama yung idea na yun. Yung tanong mo is exactly the right answer. Huwag kang mag-diversify until nakafocus ka muna na palakingin yung isa. Kasi successful business people they become successful because they're good at one thing first. That one idea that worked, you have to, tawag nga dun gatasan mo as much as you can.
Yes.
Diba? Try to squeeze as much as you can from that opportunity. Right. Like for instance, when we created our business, it is about the BPO industry. When the BPO industry was growing, we had a good idea. We jumped in as early as the industry was still growing. Right. And now industry is still there. And we're still, making business out of that industry because it grew from that point in time, and you have to be good at that, and you have to continue innovating your craft from there, because it's really important that you follow through with the times. Sumunod ka dun sa mga trends ng industry na yon. Now, pag naramdaman mo yung industry na yun hindi na enough, then mag-diversify ka. Or during the time na nag-grow ka na, let's say on your 5th year, komportable ka na, taas na ng, nasa peak ka na ng ano mo, or 7th year, sige, diversify.
Yeah.
Huwag mag-over-diversify. I think what the idea of that, if you want to be a millionaire, get 7 streams of income, hindi naman yung sinabing business eh. Pwede kasi mag-invest ka sa stocks, mag-invest ka sa mutual fund, mag-invest ka sa ganito, mag-run ka na isang business na malaki or isang maliit. It's fair.
Yes. Actually, ganun din if I would share again my story. Yung naging reason, one of the reasons why I sold the software business is that first siguro yung reason bakit ako nagtagal is because really I enjoy the process of helping businesses automate pretty much their business process and their operations, no. So for the longest time I've been having like the love and hate relationship, to be honest. I love it because when I see the output, it's very fulfilling, pero at the same time yung day to day is also very stressful, no. So my point here is that the reason again for selling the business is that so I can diversify by buying time. You know what I mean? So parang binenta ko siya. Hindi naman siya 100% that I sold the company. I'm still part of it. I'm still part of the board. But I acquired some time to diversify.
Correct.
Diba? So parang ganon. Kasi what's this? There's this concept of meron kang wealth pero wala kang time to do things, di ba?
Yes.
Yun.
Yes.
So,
everything that you do depends on your objective. If your objective is to free up your time so that you can have enough time and refresh yourself, why not?
Exactly. Yan.
And meron kang privilege na gawin yun kasi nga wealthy ka eh, di ba?
Right.
And if you sell a part of the value of your business but you still in it, why not? Di ba ganyan ang ginawa ni Mang Inasal? Nung nagustuhan siya ni Jollibee, inoferan siya, binenta niya, meron pa siyang 20% stake, pinalawak pa ni Jollibee. Mas mayaman pa kaysa sa dati nung maliit siya. Dahil meron siyang nakuhang cash na dun sa pagbenta niya ng kanyang stake ng business. Plus, lumalaki pa siya hanggang ngayon. So, hindi siya nawalan,
Right.
Mas wealthy siya because of that strategy. So again, it depends on what kind of strategy, but still that's part of adding streams of income, accumulating regular income because of the business or your investment, or acquiring a large sum because you've sold something.
Right.
And then spread it out for the years of your life, di ba?
Yes. Yeah, at least half of my time I already have done. I'm done with that milestone. So naging yung time nga na nakuha ko, naging flexible naman ako ngayon in terms of diversifying. And then yung overflow, yung profits that I get from that business and the business that I'm doing now, I still use. I still diversify as much as possible.
Reinvesting it in different businesses.
Exactly.
And then doing the business that you like.
Exactly, yes. Parang
ka lang
you're not working, di ba? Yes. Okay. Yeah. All right. So, siguro muna tayo ng konti, no? Ng topic. One topic kasi is yung I think hindi pa natin to na-discuss from the previous episode, yung tax. Kasi one of the major perks of being on the right side of the quadrant, which is the business owner investor, is the tax advantages, diba? So, can you share your thoughts on why taxes play a critical role, in wealth building?
It is important na magkaroon tayo ng idea about taxation. Pag empleyado kasi tayo, withheld na yung tax eh. So,
Yes.
pagdating ng payslip, pagdating sa bangko, yung net salary mo, net income mo, yun na yun. Nabawas na lahat, pati SSS mo, pati lahat. Pero pag nagnenegosyo ka, nakikita mo lahat yun. And you have to know it. To be honest, dapat pag empleyado ka, employee or self-employed, you have to really look at those things. Now, we have to delve on this very, very well sometime in the next episodes. Pero ngayon, ang importante is to see the tax advantage of having a business or running a business rather than taking tax from your income. The very basic term of taxation for business versus an employee or having an income is when you get an income from employment, your tax is deducted from your gross salary,
Yes.
aside from the other mandatory government deductions. Pagdating sa payslip mo, makita mo net, ito yung, wow, meron akong 15,000 na nakuha ngayong sweldo ko. Very good, happy. Pero hindi mo tinignan kung magkano minus doon. In basic terms, sa employment naman, different. Sa business, pagpasok ng income, gastusan mo muna, i-minus mo yung gastos mo, tapos dun ka lang itatax. Dun sa employee, balikan ko lang quickly, pagkakuha mo ng net mo, dun ka pa lang ngayon magbabayad ng utilities, ng car loan, ng mortgage sa bahay, what have you, groceries and everything.
Yeah.
Sa business, pagka singil mo na income, i-minus mo muna yung cost of expenses, utilities, what have you. Pagdating doon sa naiwan, yun lang itatax. So doon pa lang malaking tax advantage na agad.
Correct.
That's a very big difference in terms of taxation. Sabihin lang, paano yun? But hindi naman fair yun. Well, it's not fair in the sense that because the only income, parang ang consideration kasi ng taxation doon is, ang income mo talaga is not about your collected money. It's about what's left of. Kasi what's left of it, yun pa yung ibibigay mo sa sarili mo at gagastusan mo ng personal utilities. Pero of course, if your business is yourself, then like a self-employed person, like a doctor or a lawyer, lahat ng kanyang utilities nandun sa bahay, kasama na dun sa deduction ng income, then net tax niya mas mababa.
Correct.
No? So isa na yun sa mga advantages, but there are also tax strategies that you can run in terms of getting tax advantages for being in the business. Kasi meron kang mga tinatawag na depreciation ng equipment, no? Computer mo na depreciate, yung kotse mo na ginagamit mo dahil nasa business yun, you can depreciate that as well. So ibig sabihin may tax leverage ka doon. Yung travel mo, pwede mong i-deduct. Pwede mong sabihin na part yan ng if it's really a business travel, no? But then again, that's there are tax shield on that as well.
Yeah.
So there'd be a lot of favorable taxation advantages compared to a salary.
Yeah. I agree, no? Pero clarify lang natin, yung mga deductibles, allowable deductible expenses, especially yung mga personal, no? That really applies if you are a sole proprietorship, or self-employed, ano? Kasi
actually, part lang doon ang pwede mo itanggal, hindi lahat. It should be justifiable because if you're audited by the tax department, by the government, titingnan talaga kung ginamit mo ba yan sa personal o ginamit mo yan sa business.
Yes, pero like you said, may mga strategies naman yan eh. Like for example, in our case before, no, nag-travel tayo sa Paris, no, before, at saka sa Lisbon, Portugal. Pero it's business, pero at the same time, ginamit na rin natin opportunity para mag-tour dun sa dun sa Paris at the time, no.
So, kunyari, kasama ko dun si Leslie tsaka ikaw. Ako mag-isa, di ba?
Yeah.
On our trip there, we went to Lisbon, Portugal, and we went to Paris. 100% you can put that into your expense as in the
Yes.
business, because that's an expansion of your business opportunity. Whereas for me, yes, whereas for me, I also use that, put that into my business as an expansion of business. So total expense was charged too. However, because I was alone, I, and for me, going there is not a trip; it's really more of business. So 100%, napakinabangan ko siya for business. Whereas for you, almost 50% of that you were able to use for your personal
Yes.
opportunity. Kasi as you mentioned, this was your first time to go to Paris and Portugal. That was my third siguro. So hindi na ako nag-travel for personal gain.
Right, right.
Pero nag-enjoy tayo na para tayo nag-travel kasi every
Yes.
night na kailangan natin mag, R&R,
Yes.
parang nakabakasyon tayo.
Correct, correct. Oo.
So, yun yung sinasabi mo na sulit, di ba?
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, so I think marami namang mga strategies no na sa pagdating sa taxation that we can dive deeper siguro in our next or future episodes no. Yeah, so again, let's jump into another question and then we also talk about this in passing last episodes about building a legacy no and generational wealth. So kasi yun yung mga inspiring parts of Kiyosaki's philosophy no. So how do you see the quadrant approach helping with not just yung personal financial growth but also with creating a legacy?
For us business people, we always think about what will I pass on to my children. Di ba?
Right.
Nag-iisip tayo ng legacy na ganun.
Yeah.
One time naalala ko yung anak ko. This is just a story, no? Bago ko sagutin talaga 100% yung question. I bought a new car. I bought a BMW and then we traveled. And then we wrote a will kasi kami dalawa lang ni Mrs. ang nagbiyahe. We wrote a will. My son, my youngest, was about 6 years old. And sabi namin, ito yung mga assets namin na may iwan just in case mawala kami habang nagta-travel kami. Na, di ba? Anong may iwan sa mga bata? Diba, sabi ng bunso ko, tatay, akin yung BMW ha. so alam mo yun, nakita niya na kagad na meron siya makukuha out of, although, it's kasi nakakaano parang, di ibig sabihin mawawala kami para makuha niya. Pero my point is, yun yung pinaplano mo eh. At the time na mawala ka na, tapos na yung period mo, ano yung maiiwan mo? And that's why we always think about that. Leaving a legacy and having a business will give you, and investments will allow you to leave a legacy. Because when the business is a different entity, it's not you. It's not named, it's not a Paul Familara Inc. It's Innovate Marketing Inc.
Yes.
So even if I leave, I can pass on to my son or to my daughter or to all of them if they want to run the business with them. Or I should say, okay, my son, my daughter, they're all legal age now. I can put them give them shares of the business, and even if they don't manage that business, they will get an income out of dividends out of that because they are directors or shareholders of the company. So that's leaving a legacy.
Yes.
That's really leaving a legacy in one form.
Another aspect of that also is that yung of course yung mga tangible things like assets, equity and whatnot, yun by default technically talagang mapapass on mo sa kanila di ba? The question now is this, how can you set a proper mindset also to your children na to continue that generational wealth kasi na-mention before, usually yung second generation sila yung nag-splurge di ba ng wealth
or hindi
how
nila
can we
pakikialaman.
yes oo so how can we avoid that challenge or issue, dilemma, parang gano'n?
Marami yan. To be honest, I'm sure about 80% would happen to every business person,
Mm.
especially if you relied on your business as you are the only person who can do that.
Mm.
So one thing really for sure is important is that you bring them to the office, so to speak, and let them be exposed.
Mm.
So they know the value and get to love it as well as you've loved your business, right?
Mm. Mm.
Or understand that they can invest on your company by being, come be a shareholder of the company. So regardless kung kasali sila o hindi, meron silang puso doon kasi alam nila na shareholder sila. But
Mm.
one intrinsic value na nakikita ko which is really important and which I'm telling our children, you're actually giving salary or helping a lot of people being employed in this business.
Mm. Mm.
If your heart is giving and loving, you will help in sustaining that business because it supports other people, not just you.
Mm. Mm. Mm.
So
Right.
kung giving sila, alam nila na okay, ako nga kikita ako diyan kasi shareholder ako, pero beyond that, yung mga nakaasa na empleyado, nakakatulong ako sa pamilya nila kasi sumisweldo sila doon.
Yes.
Or lumalago yung pamumuhay nila kasi dahil lumalago yung kumpanya.
Yeah. Yeah.
So magbibigay ako ngayon ng oras ko or isusupport ko yung business or
Yeah.
i-refer ko kung hindi man ako part ng company, i-refer ko siya sa mga kilala ko kasi proud ako doon sa company na yun.
Mm. Mm. Yeah. I think that's a good right point talaga, no? How can you also pass on yung purpose of the business or the main mission and vision of the company, no? Kasi that's an important motivating factor for acquiring or continuing to run the business, no, as yung mga children, kasi in my experience also, yung mga anak ko kasi medyo competitive, no. To be honest, they're not really interested in my businesses, but they're telling me that they want to create their own businesses from scratch, no. Which is okay for me. Mga bata pa rin naman mga teenager at saka yung sa early 20s. Hopefully those mindset nila may change or mag-align kami when it comes to the yung purpose ng business that I have now so that they can continue running it, Yun. The question now is, what if at the end of the day is they're not really interested, what will you do in that scenario? Parang ganon. Hindi na ako interesado niya sa business and they wanna do it on their own. Anong gagawin mo sa business? Would you sell it? 'Di ba? Or kung gusto mo talaga siyang maging built to last, how can you be able to do that if your children are not interested?
Well, most. Yung mga anak ko, nung bata pa, isa nagtrabaho as a marketing assistant habang high school siya kasi may marketing inclination siya dun sa company. Pinigyan ko siya no summer.
Yeah.
Tapos yung isa naman, nagbigay ng contribute siya ng ideas niya. Pero hindi talaga role na so allowance lang yun, hindi yung salary. Now, pwede mo rin silang i-employ. Pero kung ayaw nila talaga dun mag-employ, gusto nila sa iba, wala kang magagawa Hindi mo naman pwedeng i-impose sa kanila yung buhay nila. Buhay nila yun
Yeah,
So
right.
all you have to do is to leave them with legacy. And that's why wealth building is important. The business that you created may be for you alone. It could grow. You can leave the business, sell it, or sell part of it, or get out of it. But you're still part of the income of the business because it's still continuing. But what you have developed out of that, the money that you've created out of that, the wealth that you have created out of that, you put it into something that you can leave behind for them. Now, the assets that you've bought out of that is directly correlated to that business, which means you're leaving another legacy because that's how you can leave legacy to them. The investments that you got from the income that the business had developed from would be invested on stocks or what have you that eventually you can pass on to them. The insurance that you bought out of the money that was grown out of the business from the income that the business has gave you will leave them that security kasi pag nawala ka, may pera na makukuha sila. So
Mm.
talagang related pa rin yung business sa kanila eh.
Mm.
Pero
Mm.
syempre, kung ayaw nila, wala kang magagawa. Pero somehow, pagkatapos ng mga yan, pag tumanda na sila, may mga bumabalik din eh, na gustong,
Mm.
kung nandun pa yung negosyo
Yes,
babalik at
yes.
babalik sila.
Yeah, yeah. Ako rin actually somehow, I want them to experience the struggle. If you know what I mean. Not really struggle to the rock bottom struggle, but struggle of reaching their own dreams ba and their own goals, no. Kasi that also balances the yung natin, yung values natin as a person, rather than spoon feed mo lahat sa kanila and whatnot. But in any case, at the end of the day, mas maganda pa rin talaga na meron kang wealth na maipapasa sa kanila, if not dun sa sa mga magiging anak pa nila in the future, no. Yun.
Oo. Well, like for example, yung mga San Miguel Corporation ng nila Soriano, ano yan eh, secured na yan eh. Yung mga Globe na BPI nila Ayala, yung SM, BDO nila C Family, yung Metro Bank ng mga na mga Filipino Chinese, yung Kilarazon, generational wealth na yan, billionaires na sila. The children and their children and their grandchildren will be benefited of that, unless merong isa na wrong move na wipe out lahat yung yung opportunity at kasi pwedeng mawala yung current wealth, but the opportunity nandun pa rin, mag-grow pa rin yun eh. Pero kung pati opportunity na lose, wala na.
Isa rin kasing, pag sinabi kasing legacy is not necessarily just passing on the legacy to your children eh. Pero you also have the legacy nga of the business itself, di ba? Yung how can you continue serving the customers or the people, even yung mga customers ng business mo or the company, even pag nag-retire ka na or you pass away, di ba? So if not your children, there's the concept of how can you like establish the culture and yung tinatawag na yung succession plan ng business, na again, not necessarily with your children, but the values that you will put in para yung mga magiging CEOs in the future would continue living the legacy and the primary purpose of the company. Parang gano'n.
Malaking bagay yon, yung may culture ka na na-develop, na yung system na yun yung susundan nila para hindi mawala. Kasi kung biglang nagpasok ka ng ibang CEO after you, tapos ang mindset niya is just earning money by all means, and then they came into a deal just to get that money, was a bad deal, which sacrificed the whole company. Let's say 50% of the company will lose money because of if you lose that deal, then totally eventually that will, it might not happen immediately that your company will go down, but slowly it will definitely deteriorate.
Yeah,
so that's a bad
very
idea.
Obvious, for example, with Apple, di ba? The brand. After ni Steve Jobs, kasi Steve Jobs is more of product oriented, innovation oriented. Pero iPhone 16 na pareho pa din yung iPhone eh. Nothing changed, di ba? So, well, that's one example siguro of how can you continue that DNA of the company once the leader has, pass away, no? Which comes to the next question about personal growth and leadership, di ba? Kasi yung switching from yung quadrant nga from employee to business and investor is not just financial journey, di ba? It's also a personal one that fosters leadership development, so parang it forces you to take ownership kasi, di ba? Make decisions, as you know, as an entrepreneur, it's really a different ball game compared to an employee. It's a it's a journey of like self-improvement that sharpens your ability to explore opportunities and think strategically, di ba? Pero in your experience, no, what kind of personal growth challenges in your case or do people face as they make this transition?
Well, first of all, to be a business person, there's only 10% in the world who are, inclined to go to business. Statistically, that's a rough estimate of that.
Yeah.
And only 1% of that 10% succeeds.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a diamond in the rough.
Yeah.
But if you're that person, because you have intentionally wanted to be there, then you would, because no diamond can be sharpened or be extracted without extreme pressure. And that's why, you know entrepreneurial journey is both a mindset and a physical effort, eh. So nandun na yung resiliency, problem solving skills, creativity na dapat mong ilagay sa business mo para continuously nag-evolve yung business mo. At alam mo, every time na may challenge, maghahanap ka you use your critical thinking to find a solution para ma-solve mo, or you're trying to solve someone else's problem so that your business has an advantage in providing that solution to that someone, to the majority of the people or your target customer. So malaking bagay yon. Again, it's also resilience about being able to pursue or continue, kasi kung hindi nga, magfe-fail ka. Kaya nga, konti lang talaga yung nagsasucceed pataas. At kung nag-succeed ka na doon sa next level, konti rin yung umakyat pa sa the next level, maximum level. And I should say, people who are in that level, meron tinatawag na a balance of egomaniac and being community driven or may purpose talaga sa community. Kailangan balansyado yun, kasi kung wala kang paniniwala sa sarili mo, hindi kang egomaniac, pagdating ng malaking challenge, hindi small challenge, malaking challenge, susuko ka talaga eh.
Yes.
Maraming bagay, kahit ako, sabi mo nga, grind yan eh. Pag akala mo ba, pag nagsimula ka na negosyo, magbabakasyon ka na lang lagi? Hindi, lalo kang magtatrabaho. Pero alam mo, na that sacrifice will yield more in the future, and the culture that you create and you leave behind will be like that. So in terms of my personal experience nga, na dahil nagnegosyo ako, ang dami ko nakikitang opportunities na.
Parang gusto mo lahat kunin eh, no?
Oo, rather
I-try.
than nung trabaho ka sa empleyado, kung ano lang tinuro ng boss, ano yung task mo, ano yung goal ng company for that year, ano yung sales target mo, yun na yun eh.
Yeah.
Kasi may limitation lang yung role mo, may iba namang gagawa ng ibang parts ng role. Pero ikaw yung nag-run ng business, you see everything. And then once you see another opportunity, you get that opportunity. And that now multiplies your wealth. Kasi nga, yung opportunity na to will give you 10% income, will give you 1 million, will give you 10,000 pesos, will give you, $100,000 kasi nasa ibang bansa ka. Accumulate that, that's part of your wealth building.
I stumbled upon or may na-meet ako na OFW in the UK last August when I was there, no. Then I was talking to him. He said na he has been trying businesses. Pero since wala nga siyang experience sa business, dito sa Philippines, nagbi-business siya dito. Even there in the UK, they try, parang ganun. Pero it always fails, no? For some reason, maybe wala siyang experience or wala siyang time to, make it successful because employee nga siya. And he mentioned na give up na niya yung pagbi-business. So, ang ginawa niya ngayon is investments na lang, like stocks, securities, and whatnot, Is that a route na, kasi sabi natin parang
For wealth building,
may notion na business is a prerequisite before investment eh. Is that true?
no, it's not. It's not
Yeah.
true. So, mag-invest ka, part pa rin ng wealth building yun. Pero then again, kailangan mo paikutin yung investment mo para makapag-invest ka more. So, when you're, ang difference lang nun is, when you are getting your investment amount to put into investment, galing sa kunyari, OFW, malaki sweldo, limited nga yun eh. Kung let's sabihin natin ang sweldo nitong OFW nito is 3 million pesos a year. Malaki na yan sa ordinary na Pilipino. Diba?
Right.
$100,000 New Zealand dollars yan a year dito. So malaki yan. Nasa high mean average ka.
Yeah.
Pero yun yung pagsisimulan mo ng investment.
Yeah.
Pero kung nagnegosyo ka kasi na meron kang 100,000 this month, tapos next month nakastumble upon ka ng client na 1 million, may neto ka doon na 500,000 for example. For example lang, no? Kalahating million ng neto mo, at yung kalahating million ininvest mo, mas malaki yun kesa doon sa
Yeah. In other words,
regular mo na salary.
if I get it right, mas malaki yung opportunities and yung
Mas faster ang wealth
faster.
building.
Yeah, ang wealth building if you do business, no. Pero it doesn't
Correct.
mean na you mean business is a prerequisite. If I get it right, no.
Kasi pag nag-invest ka kasi sa stock for example, nag-invest ka sa isang business eh.
Yeah.
Kung yung na-investan mo is nag-multiply by 10 times, 10x,
Then good.
then lumaki yung pera mo and then ipaikutin mo na naman sa
Yeah.
ibang business, well and good. Pero normally, ang business, yung growth niyan is really, really high from this to that. Tapos magkakaroon ka ng peak, tapos i-reinvent mo ulit, and then pataas na naman. Or
Yeah.
i-diversify mo. So, let's say nag-diversify ka, yung tatlo na yun gumagalaw. Lahat.
Correct.
So, lahat yun pwede mo pagkunan ng pang-invest mo.
Yeah.
So, dun sa ESBI na yun na quadrant, pwede ka nga mag-invest as an employee, pwede ka mag-invest as a self-employed, basta kung ano yung net na pera mo. Again, for wealth building, investment is a key. But for business, you're now multiplying yourself,
Yeah.
leveraging on that opportunity, and then that's where you get your opportunity to invest more.
Yeah. I think ang point ko lang here talaga is there are people na hindi talaga, kahit na anong ipilit natin,
So,
kumbaga hindi talaga sila pang business, no. Parang basketball lang 'yan na hindi, kumbaga yung mga tao na pinag-try mag-basketball hindi talaga maka-shoot. Wala talaga sa DNA nila, no. Parang ganun. Pero
Correct.
of course, you always try, kumbaga it doesn't mean na you don't try it, 'di ba? You can try it and then try to look for mentors, try to do efforts
Yun
to
nga.
learn, 'di ba?
Dalawang perspective yan, Dennis, eh. Yung na-mention mo na yung nagtatry siya several times, actually trying is learning.
Yeah.
Failing is learning. But of course, if you fail several times, it means you're not trying enough,
Enough, yeah.
or learning enough.
Yeah.
So part na investment mo is education.
Yeah.
You have to educate yourself financially and business-wise. So magbabasa ka talaga ng libro, manunod ka ng YouTube, whatever. Mabuti nga ngayon, dami nang pwedeng pag-aralan eh. Dati wala. Kuha ka ng mentor.
Correct.
And that's why, di ba napag-usapan natin, I'd like to revive the idea of the mentor program,
Yeah.
that we can, gather as many mentors and then help out other people with different mentors. So having said that, so sabi nga, dalawang perspective. One is, hindi ka para doon, so ang gawin mo na lang mag-invest kasi ibang businesses by investing on stocks. No? Kung gusto mo yung Jollibee, alam mo nag-grow yun, mag-invest ka doon. So habang lumalaki yun, nag-grow ka rin. Right? Mag-invest ka sa REITs, yung mga real estate. Kung hindi ka realtor, mag-invest ka sa mga funds na real estate na mutual fund type, no? Trust fund type sa stock market. Para ka na ring realtor.
Yeah.
Diba? So that's one. And number two is you educate yourself. Kung talaga nagtatry ka, mag-try ka more, or maghanap ka ng marunong talaga, sabayan mo siya, ibigay mo share mo yung idea sa kanya, magtrabaho kayo together.
Yes. Yeah. Actually, yun nga yung sasabihin ko na, you can look for somebody na nagsisimula din mag-business na talagang, has the DNA na maging entrepreneur, and then sabayan mo siya, mag-invest ka sa kanya and then learn together, parang ganon, Yeah, that's a good takeaway, no? Sige, so another topic, no, kasi the right side of the quadrant pa rin is all about flexibility and freedom, no? So what are some of the freedoms na you believe come from moving into the business or investor space?
Okay, let's always compare this to having salary. We're not putting down people having salary
Mm-mm.
because we started that way as well,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And even if kung mataas ang kakaalaman mo, galing mo, at na-improve yung position mo sa kumpanya, manager, director, or what have you, no, regional manager, tumataas naman yung sweldo mo rin eh. Tumataas din yung perks mo.
Mm.
Diba? So that's good. That's good. But then again, as I said, you're 8 to 5 there. So if you have a business, for example, that you have a manager to leave that with while you wanted to go on vacation, again, you already cut the time that you're staying in the company and having that freedom. Contrast to what was happening to me when I was growing the business, when I was working 20 hours, 4 hours of sleep only. That is parang di lalo ka lang walang freedom, 8 to 5 ka nga lang dati, ngayon 20 hours ka na nagtrabaho.
Correct.
Oo, pero short while lang yun.
Yeah.
After I have developed that, I can, bring my family for a vacation for a month without being bothered by the business. Here and there, they give you a call directionally, but they can make decisions because they have the ability to make decisions. They are given the authority to make decisions.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean. When you work 8 to 5, you're trading time for money.
Mm-hmm.
When you're working in a business, you're trading idea with money.
Mm. Yeah.
And the more ideas, the more opportunities that you have, the greater flexibility
Right.
your income will be.
Mm-mm.
So the freedom is there. And a traditional employment does not give that to you because you do not own that business. You do not own that company. It's someone else's business. You're just working for them. So it removes a limitation that's being imposed at you by the nature of your situation.
Yeah. Okay. You mentioned about kanina, no? Syempre, hindi naman yan right away na when you transition, free ka na agad. You have that freedom agad,
Yun
diba?
na sabi ko sa'yo, ako,
Yes.
transition ko was hard, di ba?
Yes. So may initial steps. You have to take a few steps backward to go further forward. Ano? Parang ganun ang concept eh. And the key there kasi is really, in my experience as well, which I have learned when we grow the business, is the right people, right management and right people. That's the key for you to have freedom after reaching some success point, diba? Parang ganun. But again, it's another topic.
Or
when it comes to-
trustworthy people there as well.
Yeah.
No?
Mm.
Kasi nga, kung iiwanan mo for your freedom from time to time, like you don't work 8 to 5 anymore. You just, you come in at midday, make decisions, leave
Yes.
at 6 or 5. Alam mo na nung 8 o'clock pa lang kumagalaw na yun kasi merong people na you trust making the right decisions for you.
Yes. And again, there's a totally long topic when it comes to management and leadership and whatnot. But the point here is that you have to make a running business na parang relo, 'di ba, na tumatakbo siya mag-isa, kahit wala ka. That's the main objective, All right, so another aspect in business kasi is or a business owner that is often overlooked then is the ability, to create jobs and give back to the community, 'di ba? Why do you think this is such a critical element dun sa quadrant mindset?
As we said, the business is about leveraging. It's about scaling. And of course, you're not scaling yourself just because you have a photocopier of yourself and then copy ikaw mismo yun. Hindi. Kinakopy mo yung opportunity, yung business by giving it to another person.
Yeah.
Right? That skill that you have had, yung talino mo, yung abilidad mo, hahanap ka ng pareho or close to the ability na kayang i-perform yung task na yon.
And then that's
Para
when you
sa'yo.
get the freedom. after.
And that's what you get the freedom.
Yeah.
And the
yeah.
more people like that in your business, the more your business grows, and the less and less you need to be doing the same thing. So nandun ka na sa paakyat, nag-iisip ka na lang nag-iisip para sa kumpanya.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Correct.
mind you, for me, for example, every now and then, if I see a person in my company who's not performing the right thing that I expect, because I know that job, I sit down and really work on it. And para pakita ko, ito yun ito yung gagawin mo para ma-achieve mo yan. And then, pinasa mo ulit yung talino, yung skill, uulitin na naman nila. So, it is really important because that now creates job. When you create jobs for the people, you're now helping the community.
Yes. And you support the
Right.
economy.
You support the economy.
Yeah.
Tumataas yung gastos ng kumpanya mo, tumataas yung tax na binabayaran mo sa VAT, tumataas yung income tax na binabayaran mo, dumadami yung tao na nakikinabang, and so on and so forth. Now,
Yeah.
aside from that, being able to support the economy and the community is solving problems for the community.
Right.
You do not go into business just to make money. It's always solving a problem.
Yes. And
Diba?
then
A
money
business
comes
is
after.
Yes, a business is always about. A business is created because someone needs that business or that product or service of that business, diba?
Yeah.
So talagang problem solving ang ginagawa mo. So if government will not be able to solve that for these people, individual or group, ikaw yun as a privateer, as a private business person. And for instance, on our side, yung business na kinrate namin under Innovate, dahil nagsisimula yung BPO industry, yung call center industry, nagtayo kami ng solution na matutulungan yung mga empleyado. Pagkatapos na nag-transition kami, natulungan na yung industry itself. Kaya kami lumago. Kasi yung industry, ang bilis ng growth, kasabay kami nun. Pero hindi yun yung purpose. Ang purpose really is tulungan yung mga empleyado. Yung makapasok. So nung time na yun, ang ganda ng support namin sa industry. At this point, we can probably say that 30% of the people who are in the BPO industry came to our company.
Yeah. Yeah.
Out of that 1.8 million probably in the employment of that industry,
Yeah.
directly or indirectly. And that's a big contribution to the community, to the industry itself. We don't want to be, we were not seeking for recognition or award. Hindi yun eh. Ang award mo is yung naipasok mo empleyado doon, na alam mo na natulungan niya yung kanyang pamilya na lumago. Meron siyang pambayad ng utilities kasi mas malaki sweldo ng regular na BPO or call center lalo na kung may skills ka, di ba? So having said that, you're now helping not just an individual but a whole family. And because of that, and we're very proud of, is that sa dami ng mga tao na yun, alam namin na ang laking na-contribute namin sa community. And sabi ko nga, the money will just follow.
Yeah.
Because your intent and your purpose was noble, was right. Again, we're just trying to solve the problem then.
Yeah.
The problem was there were people needing jobs. There are a lot of people who are in a job that they don't like pero ang taas ng skill set nila. Meron companies na kailangan ng empleyado kasi lumipat yung call centering and business process outsourcing from US, Canada, Europe to the Philippines. Oo, meron na sa India, pero second wave yung Philippines. So nung natayo yung industry na yun, may problema yung mga companies na yun. Yung problema naman ng mga empleyado maghanap ng trabaho, nandito kami sa gitna. Solved.
Yeah. Tama, no? It's really about solving pain points of your market or your customers, no? Going back din to sinabi mo about your trading ideas kasi pagka meron kang time, no? Like in our experience, for example, in the co-working space, no? Kasi here sa The Playground PH dito sa Batangas, we have different sections. Meron kaming semi-private, meron kaming conference, meron kaming lounge, etc. And then yung first few months, I was wondering bakit walang umuupo dun sa lounge? Bakit laging dun sa No, kasi me personally, gusto kong umuupo dun sa lounge pag nasa co-working space, no. Natataka ko bakit. So, nag-try ako na umupo, tapos kumbaga I realize na the reason why is that somehow you're open. Sabihin, may mga dumadaan, you're open, etc. Gusto nung iba na may privacy. In a way, nasa lounge sila pero may privacy. No? So, ginawa ko, nag-run ako ng survey sa market. Parang in exchange of half-day pass, magsagot ka ng survey. Ang dami sumagot, actually. May mga sumagot na gusto nila ng parang closed location where they can do Google Meet or Zoom. Kasi pag nandun sila sa open desk, nahihiya sila na nandun sa naririnig ng iba, parang ganon. So nagpagawa kami ng telephone booth. So yung mga ganon, yung iba naman gusto ng food. So ngayon nagde-develop kami ng products such as food, parang ganon. So my point here is that you really have to serve the community at the same time to sustain the business. You really have to listen to the pain points of your market or your customers and try to solve it. It doesn't mean na successful siya agad, but it's gonna be an iteration of product development to get to that success level, di ba?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yun yung part natin in the business, solving the problem, how to solve the problem.
Yeah.
Because the problem that you had in your business was, bakit hindi na occupy yung space na to? Sayang. It could be an income generating space. Whereas the problem of the people was getting into that space, hindi ko feel yung open na open.
Yeah.
So sinolve mo yung problem nila by solving your problem.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. All right, so tatalo na naman tayo, medyo accounting to, no. So let's talk about yung assets or asset building, assets versus liability, kasi yan din yung mga main topics ni di ba, ni Kiyosaki, no. It's like the name of the game, no. Why do you think it's so important to focus on building assets, and how do you define assets and liabilities? Kasi yung liabilities, yan yung utang, di ba? Na-discuss natin last time, no? Which basically drains your resources as well, no? So what's your advice in asset building versus managing your liabilities?
So there are two things in terms of asset building for your business to give you leverage on your wealth building. Number one, if you buy for example, a vehicle or an equipment for your business to generate more income for your business, that's asset accumulation, right? That lessens now expense for your company rather than renting it out somewhere else. Kasi nadi-depreciate mo yung yung gamit mo na yon. So less na lang yung cost mo to utilize that asset, your equipment, rather than renting that equipment. Ang ibig ko sabihin, for example, kaysa nagre-renta ka ng sasakyan, bumili ka ng sasakyan, tapos yun ang gamitin mo ng gamitin. Mas malaki yung kikitain mo later on dahil sa'yo yun. Or kung kailangan mo pang parenta yun, edi may kita ka pa additional. That's just one part. Yung iba equipment, yung iba building. Bumili ka ng isang building, pag opisina ka sa baba, parenta mo yung taas, buong yun sa'yo.
Correct.
Si Jollibee, ganyan, di ba? Yung Jollibee building sa Ortigas, for example, part lang doon ng opisina niya, nasa pinakataas siya, the rest sa baba, pinaparenta niya.
Correct.
So that's asset growth, wealth growth through asset building.
Yeah.
So yung kanina about liabilities, instead of spending or borrowing money to rent out an equipment, you buy it yourself and depreciate that and make money out of it. So malaking bagay. Yun yung mga strategies. Medyo sa accounting books or somebody who knows how to look at the finances, makikita mo yan na may strategy, may value. Pero sa ordinary person or ordinary eye, hindi mo pa makikita kagad yan. It needs a little bit of financial knowledge, or rely to the right people in your company to do that, to seek. But aside from that, a company as ours, for example, you take out part of that money from your income, rather than just putting it as retained earnings and using it for and just keeping it in the bank. Use it to invest and then make money out of that. No, so you utilize your retained earnings by expanding your business, getting more people, buying more equipment, and or getting a part of that and putting it into investment rather than totally 100% ipabigay mo sa dividend.
Mm-mm. Yeah.
Para
Mga
mag-grow,
specific
diba?
example siguro yung practical is, 'di ba, yung iba umuutang ng pambili ng condo, 'di ba? Tapos after that, pag I think there's a certain percentage na pwede mo na siyang tiran, and ipa-rent, ano. So kung yung rent mo will pay for the debts and may income ka pang natira,
Yes.
so that's the one example. Kasi yung asset is the condo, and then it earns money, cash inflow, and then yung cash outflow mo is yung pambayad sa utang, no. So basically, if the inflow is greater than the outflow, so that's a good cash flow basically.
Nagtayo ka ng real estate business sa business mo kasi naggumawa ka na, kagaya nga sabi ko kanina, let's say for example Jollibee building, yung building na yun, nandun lang siya, nagpaparenta siya doon sa baba. So yung gastos niya pang gawa ng building na yun na inutang niya, for example, I'm sure inutang niya rin yun para hindi siya gumamit ng sarili niyang pera, inutang niya yung panggawa ng building, pero yung mga nagrerenta doon ang nagbabayad ng utang, may tubo pa siya. Tapos hindi na siya nagbabayad ng renta kasi nandun siya sa building na sarili niya.
Yes. Yeah, kahit yung mga simple trading lang, bumili ka umutang ka pambili ng inventory of sapatos. Inventory kasi is an asset, di ba? Now, yung kikitain mo doon, if that's greater than the pambayad sa utang mo, so that's a good business already and good cash flow, no?
Correct. For instance, ako recently I invested on a property that I can either use as an office once na turn over na yung property na yun sa amin, company investment yun, or I can sell it out, and my projection there is in the next 3 years I can make 20% out of it.
Yes, so yeah.
Or minimum, I could probably make 50% out of it if I just sell it. But if I go beyond that by utilizing it or renting it out, I can make more.
Exactly.
So that's how you strategize it. It may not happen immediately, of course, kasi strategy nga yan eh. Pero if you stick to the process, nandun yun eventually.
Yeah, you really have to see the balance of risk and reward, Again, similar this experience ko sa co-working space. Kinuha namin to because wala lang kaming matambayan pag-aantay sa mga bata paghatid sundo, 'di ba? So, instead of renting a space or magtatambay ka sa coffee shop, magagastos ka doon, etc., kumuha na lang kami ng co-working space and then we rent it out. Sila na yung customers na nagbabayad.
Yung coffee mo dyan na galing, kikita ka pa.
Exactly.
Kasi
So, yun. So, risky siya, pero, it's also a reward kung magiging successful ka dun sa concept or dun sa idea. No?
Correct. Hindi mo naman masasabi naman talaga na 100% yun eh. Pero dahil seasoned businessman ka, hanap ka ng paraan para yun maging successful. So, as I said, your coffee is free now, but we know that you gave out a lot of money from your pocket to make that happen. Magrerenta ka, magpapa-renovate ka, malaking pera yun, million yun, yung nilabas mong pera. So, yung million, for an ordinary mindset, I don't want to give to that million to get out of my bank. Million na yun eh. Pero hindi, you're looking at that million to generate more millions later on.
And now, we introduce na premium coffee. So, meron pa rin free coffee, then may premium coffee. Kikita ka pa doon.
Yes, exactly. So it might not come back to you now, but it would come back to you later on. Pero na-mention mo sa akin, sulit ka na kasi yung binabayad mo ngayon.
Yeah. It's actually, to be honest, and
bumabawi na eh,
diba? Modesty aside, on the first month pa lang, profitable na siya.
Meron kami maliit na business noon, 3 months lang, payout na kami.
Correct.
Bonus na lang yung sumusunod eh.
Yeah. Pero as a beginner siguro, siguro yung pwede nating mabigay na advice, how should we balance that yung taking risks, What's your
Mm.
your take on it? The basic concept.
Again, it's really important that the understanding of wealth concept is what's left of you at the end of the day in your pocket.
Mm-mm.
So the idea of transitioning, make sure number one, you're secured.
Mm-mm.
Don't leave your don't leave your salary job until the business is almost or securedly going to give you a similar income or more, right? That's security. Or you can run it both at the same time and then just leave when you think that, boss, I'm sorry, I'll render my 30 days. I will resign. I've actually been running this business for 2 years, and my
Mm-mm.
time is focused. Would like to focus on this business more. So I respectfully would like to leave. Alam mo, it will generate a big respect
Mm-mm.
from your employer
Yeah,
to
yeah,
see you something like that.
yeah.
Hindi yung basta na lang na parang ayoko na sa inyo, pinahirapan niyo ako, dito ako sarili ko. No, don't think like that.
Mm.
To be honest, lahat ng natutunan mo sa employment, ilinagay mo doon sa negosyo.
Right. And
Yung resiliency mo, yung skill mo, yung binigyan ka ng let's say pakotse or travel, yung exposure mo sa travel, meron kang na-expand yung idea mo, yung pakotse mo, nakaikot ka sa kung saan na nagbigay ka ng, nakakuha ka ng mga ideas doon at yun ang binuo mo sa negosyo mo. So
Yeah.
ako always I take pride on the value that I have learned from corporate.
yeah.
Because I worked in corporate for 11 years from the time that I came from college. I worked from corporate, but during that time I grinded. On that 11 years, in the process, within that small business until you fail, you make money, you fail, you make money, and then
Yeah,
you
yeah.
have something really big that you can decide to go out from.
Yeah, and speaking of yung managing risk, hindi naman ibig sabihin you put all your savings in, one shot, big shot. There's also
Correct.
a concept of testing product ideas. So going back dito sa coring space again, for example, before we decided na sige, let's do this, nag-test muna kami. Nag-run kami ng ads, Facebook ads, saying na it's just a simple creative text na nakalagay doon, black pa. Text is co-working space in Lipa, ? Ganun lang. Tapos we boost it. Ang daming nag-sign up ng parang waitlist. As in, close to 1,000 people nag-sign up.
Wow.
So,
Galing.
dun ako nagkaroon ng confidence na, let's launch this. This is worth investing because may market, no? Similarly, dun sa ibang type of business, maraming ways to test the market. Like for example, if you want to sell educational courses, pwede kang mag-launch ng early bird launching to see kung may mag-enroll pa ba even before starting creating your modules, no? Something like that.
Pre-selling, kumbaga, pre-selling.
Oo. Or pre-order, for example. When we launch our Pule beer, before we nag-launch kami ng pre-order before the Oktoberfest back to 2 years ago, no? Actually hindi nga namin na-anticipate lang because ang daming umorder. Kinulang sa inventory. But my point here is that you can test things, no? Even before investing a lot of your savings in one shot, parang ganun. So that's how you should manage the risk and reward of doing business.
Dennis, meron akong gusto i-share sa audience, no? If you want to see transition, ito malaki ang naging growth nitong company na to. It's a US company. You're familiar with Netflix, di ba?
Yes.
Yung owners ng Netflix, mga empleyado rin sila. Pero mataas na yung posisyon nila sa kumpanya. Pero naghahanap sila talaga ng concept, try sila, hindi ubra, pero hindi na tinatry kagad yung negosyo. Ang ginagawa nila, tinetesting lang muna nila, gusto ba to ng tao? Subukan nila, nag-work ba? Yan ba yung idea na maganda? Everyday kasi magkasama sila, sasakay na carpool sila, papasok sila ng trabaho eh. Nag-uusap sila lagi kung anong gagawin nila kasi parang ayaw na nila dun sa pagtatrabaho sa employee. And during the time na ginawa nila yung Netflix, lahat ng proseso nila doon tinetest nila. So tinetesting mo talaga lahat para
Right.
sigurado ka na bago ka magkaroon ng success, may calculated risk ka na papasukin.
Yes. Exactly. That's a good point. Oh.
So listen to this podcast by The Diary of a CEO. Na DOAC yan. Pag tinignan mo sa YouTube, maganda itong podcast na to. Magaganda yung kanilang mga interview. Hanapin nyo yung kay Netflix.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
really good.
All right. So I think we're down to our last point. Which is, I think this is one of the exciting aspects of this journey, yung innovation and creativity. Sabi nga natin, actually yung testing products and ideas are part of being creative in the process, diba? So why do you think the right side of the quadrant, again the business and the investment, breeds more creativity on top dun sa mga na-discuss natin,
basically, if you're again, we'll go back to the idea that we're trying to solve problems. And you cannot solve problems if you think the same way as the people who have those problems.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
The only way you can get out of that problem is to think outside of that problem. First of all, think of it's not a problem, it's just a challenge. So kung challenge yan, maghahanap ka ng solusyon. You will now be creative enough to go beyond yung nakikita ng karamihan in adapting it. Of course, you have to test. Hindi mo masabi na yun yung talagang tamang solution kagad. Pero because you're determined to solve a problem, you bring out your creative juice out of that.
Yeah.
And for instance, our company is called Innovate. We always innovate. Every time that we see a dip of change, we add new ideas. And I encourage, and that's the culture of the company, don't stop from looking for a solution. There's always a solution for every problem if you consider that as not a problem but a challenge.
Correct.
So a person in the company who's always saying negative things na hindi natin sir, hindi natin kaya yan, hindi natin problema natin yan. I always say, you know what? If you think you cannot solve that problem right now, sleep over it. Find someone in the company who can help you look for a solution. Or go to Google and see yung mga nandun. And then put all those ideas together, you have now a solution to a problem.
Yeah, agree.
It might not happen right now. Could be a week after. Could be after several testing. But surely because you have expanded beyond your comfort zone, your creativity, your creative juice will be used to solve that problem. And that's what a business person is.
Yeah.
A very creative person.
Yeah, and agree, no? So it has to be in your DNA, innovation and creativity. Sabi mo nga, the name of your business is Innovate. Kami naman, the playground. Kasi it's like a sandbox of ideas and whatnot. Parang ganon.
Yes.
Yung mga companies nga, like sina Google, I think, when they were starting, especially when they hired the CEO, I forgot the name of the past CEO, nag-introduce sila ng 15% of their time, 10 or 15% rule na they focus on trying out things, building products and whatnot. So meaning, if I'm a developer working on something, they are allowed to do 15% of their time to do other things na not necessarily part of their job or description, job description. So pretty much it's really part of their DNA. Similarly, if you're doing business, part of it, like you said, solving problems, solving pain points, trying out new products that will solve a major challenge or problem in the industry in grand scheme of things, parang ganon. So it has to be inherent in your process.
If it's inherent in you as a business person, make it a culture in the business so it could be inherent to the system.
Yes.
Kasi hindi naman lahat ng tao magiging inherent yun eh. Kaya nga may mga employee ka ng sasabihin nila, sir, wala tayong solution dyan. Because it's not inherent to them. But if it's inherent in the system, wala siyang magagawa kasi pag na-stuck siya sa isang problema, hahanap siya ng ibang paraan kasi required yun ng company na maghanap ka ng ibang paraan.
Right.
Si Elon Musk, ganyan ginawa niya sa Tesla.
Yeah.
Sabi niya, lahat ng processes, if you have 20 processes, find a way to simplify it.
Yeah,
If you're
yeah.
down to 7, well and good. If you can run the same thing in 7 steps, ibig sabihin you have used your creativity and problem-solving skills and critical thinking skills na magawa mo yun. Bakit? Kasi kaya mo ibababa sa 7 dahil maraming bagay na magagawa sa kumpanya yun eh. 1, saves cost. Kasi konti lang yung step, saves time. Kasi na-reduce mo kagad yung work method into 7 steps. So, most of the time we're bogged down into eto lang alam nating way para, for example, isang way lang alam mo para maglaban ng damit is kailangan mo kuskusin. Yun na, luma na yan eh. May technology na eh.
Right.
'Di ba? Ilagay mo sa washing machine, 'di ba? Ilagay mo sa 30-second spin para after 30 seconds pwede ka nang umalis kasi gumana na yung nilaban mo. As simple as those things. There are many ways to make your business or your job easier. And that is part of being a business person. Innovation and creativity gives you an advantage. It gives you these the freedom to in an edge against other people, and that's leverage. That's why business is a leverage.
Yeah, great episode. Ito na yata
Yes.
yung pinakamahaba nating episode so far.
Oo nga.
Yeah, may momentum na eh. So let's wrap it up. Any final words about our main topic, which is Robert Kiyosaki's cash flow quadrant?
Well, beyond Robert Kiyosaki's cash flow quadrant, it's ang gusto ko i-impose into the idea of everyone. Because I myself up to this point is taking this principle. It's long-term benefits of business ownership is right there. It's not going to limit you. It's really about scalability. It's really about the longevity of your ideas because you pass it on to people. You pass it on to your employees. You pass a system. You create a culture, and then you expand it. There are more successful people beyond us. To be honest, we know that, and if we accept that, we learn from them as well. And if we're in the level of this, and tapos kunyari merong someone who would like to just grow out of transition from employees to business person, or a self-employed to a business person, just think about how can I scale myself? How can I scale my idea?
Right.
And that's the long-term benefit of your business. And that's part of wealth growth.
Yeah. Okay. Ako naman, I would say I won't be in my position now if I did not read Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad Poor Dad back in 20 plus years ago. So I highly suggest, if you haven't already, try to get a copy of that. Baka may mga free na yan sa YouTube na audiobook. Oo. So yeah, marami kayong matututunan dan on top of what we have discussed here. Yeah, so basically what great discussion today
Yes.
on the cash flow quadrant. So we hope you found value in this breakdown of how financial growth, scalability, and shifting to a business owner mindset can transform your wealth journey. So if you enjoyed this episode, please like, share, and subscribe, and let us know which quadrant you're aiming to be in by commenting down below.
That's good.
Any other closing thoughts?
Kung gusto niyo mag-grow ng wealth ninyo talaga, ito yung pinaka-basic. Siguro Dennis will share a graphic example of that on our YouTube. Siguro i-flash natin yan para at least makita nila kung ano yung sinasabi natin. Kasi parang sobrang basic na formula. The basic formula. And this is about changing your mindset, moving from one stage to the other.
Yeah.
Because wealth building will not happen if you don't have that mindset and if you don't educate yourself. And now this is part of your education, moving yourself out of this situation by moving up in the quadrant from E to S to B to I.
That is right. So again, thanks for joining us in the Wealth Building Journey podcast.
Thank you,
And
Dennis.
yeah,
Thank you.
thank you. Until next time, keep building, keep growing, or keep moving toward financial freedom. We will see you next week.
See you again.
All right. Thank you.